Okay, Jello everybody. This video is going to pick up where we left off last time. We were designing a way to capture pressure data. And just as a reminder, is that on a schematic capture program, this time Express PCB, we start off by drawing the devices in the on the sheet, and we have a pressure sensor, we have some sort of microprocessor, and we have some sort of PC. Notice that we're going to make the flow from left to right. We start with the sensor and end up with something on the PC. And let me just connect the PC to the processor. So we get over to the line drawing tool over here, and we just click over here, click and drag over here, and in this thing. And what I noticed on the pressure sensor, we did not identify the pressure sensor. So remember, we went over to DigiKey and we picked this guy, and it is a MPXV 7025. So we're going to go write that down so you don't forget it. We go over here, we're going to do, and that is an MXPV 7025 sensor. We'll put it in here so we know what it is. And that's too small. We're going to make that a little bigger. Do it again. Get over here, delete this guy, and move this thing over where we can kind of see it. Alright, so now let's start to wire this up. So we go over here to the sensor. We squirt on down here where the manual says how to hook it up. So ground is on pin 3, supply is on pin 2, and V out is on 4, and all the rest of the pins are unused. So let's go just put those in. So we know how to hook it up. We click the annotation tool. Supply is on pin 2, I believe. Output is on 4. And, gee, I forgot. Let's see. Go look. Ground is on pin 3. All the other pins are unused. So now we've got the pressure sensor wired up. Now we got to go wire the Arduino up. All right. How do you do that? Go back to the internet. Search on Arduino. Notice products right here. You click products. We're going to use the Uno, which are the boards we have in the lab. So we'll go over here and just come over here, squirt on down here to schematic somewhere. Oh well, find schematic, then fast forward. Here it comes. Here's a schematic. Notice it's too small to read for me, so I'll blow it up some. Alright, here's the Arduino. Here's where you become engineers. There's plenty of data sheets on here. That's not quite big enough for me to see. You got to read the data sheets and the manuals and the blogs and other things. Alright, notice ground is pin 4. Excuse me, pin 3, and 5 volts is pin 32. So we gotta establish a ground, and we gotta establish voltage. So so now we come over to our schematic over here. We gotta connect this ground, so we're gonna put a ground over here. I'm gonna blow this up a bit, so I don't have to be quite so active. I'm going to get the line tool right here. We're going to come put a line over here. And we're going to go find the ground. So I'm going to slide over here and get us a ground. Copy a ground. This is the ground deal. Right click, copy, paste. click and drag. All right, now we notice that was pin 3. Just so happens we got one up here, so we're going to paste that. So now we got the ground. Now we got to come up and get the supply. Now this is the source. It turns out that the 5 volts comes from the PC. So we're going to go over here, get the select tool, right click this thing, copy it, come over here and paste it. And now we're going to hook it up. I'm going to grab the line tool. And my memory serves me correct. We looked on the schematic, that was pin 32. Alright, and it didn't quite get placed right, so we just move it over here. Alright, let's go back. Now we have the output of the pressure sensor coming to an input over here. We know this is an analog signal, so let's get back over to the Arduino schematic. And let's go look for an analog input. Slide this thing over. Notice that, let me blow that up some more so I can read it. And notice these things down here, ANI 3. If you read the data sheet, you'll know that's analog input 3. Let's see, let's look some more. This is, well, let's pick 3. This turns out to be analog 3. That turns out to be pin 10. So we can come over here to our schematic and we will wire this to pin 10. And move it where we see it. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. So this turns out to be the USB to interface, so we'll just mark this USB interface. So basically you've designed a circuit so that you can test this pressure sensor. So just to kind of review it, this thing has got an input here, pressure input, a hose connection here, pressure comes in here, analog voltage comes out here. This thing will convert this 0 to 5 volt signal, communicate via the USB port to the PC where you can capture that data and you can test that. And this is how you design a pressure sensor. I want to show you one other important thing that lots of times we forget is we want to name this drawing. So you come over here in this drawing, hit the select tool, go over here, right click, or let's see, can't remember. Why can't I edit this? There it is. Okay, so we want to change the name. This is the buoy team. Okay, so now the drawing changed to buoy team. The schematic name, I'm going to give a schematic name. Let's call it pressure sensor. And it's a test jig. Okay, and then you put your name in here. I typically put my initials. And the one last thing you want to do is you want to save this guy. So it's already got a pretty good name. So I normally date date my schematics as I go. So, and I put the year, month, date so I can search 03, 01, 31. All right. So there you go. This is how you do design and do schematic capture. You take this into the lab. You can wire it up and test it out. And another thing that people often do, including me, is don't take notes as you go. If your memory is good as mine, you'll keep reinventing what you did. Taking notes helps that. So, so how am I doing? So long.